Hi everybody, welcome back to another children's Torah story. Do you remember what happened last time? Well, Yaakov found out that Yosef, his beloved son, was actually alive after he thought, thank you, I'll use this one. After he thought that he had been lost forever, he discovered that he was absolutely fine. He was the boss of the whole land of Egypt, and he was just delighted. He was so happy. And do you remember his granddaughter, Serach Bat Asher, started singing that special song? Guess what? Yosef is actually alive. That's what she started singing. He was so happy. They sent up the wagons and the horses from Egypt. Everyone started coming down. And remember, Yaakov was a little bit scared that they were leaving Hashem's holy place in Israel. And what did Hashem tell him? Don't be afraid. I will take care of you. Everything will be okay. And when you can't take care of the family anymore, Yosef will take care of the family. Well, for today's story, this is Yosef and this is Yaakov. And they hadn't seen each other for such a long time. And remember, when they saw each other, they gave each other such a big hug. Oh, it's so nice to see you. I missed you so much. But one of them started crying and one of them didn't. Who do you think started crying, Yeladim? Was it Yosef or Yaakov who started crying? Well, Rashi tells us it was Yosef who started crying. Yosef, the son, was so happy to see his dad. Oh, Daddy, I'm so happy. He wasn't crying because he was sad. He was crying because he was happy. Oh, Daddy, I'm so happy. I can't believe it. I never thought that I would see you again. But I can see you again. He was so happy he was crying. But why do you think the dad wasn't crying? Surely the dad would be even happier. Rashi says, because the dad was busy saying something so special. No, you can't have that, my sweetie. I'm using it for the video. So the dad was saying something even more special. He was saying the Shema. Because do you know what Yaakov said? He said, this is the happiest I have ever been in my whole life. The happiest I've ever been in my whole life. And because this moment is the best moment of my life, my happiest moment of my life, when I get to see my special Yosef after all these years, I am going to say the Shema Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. That's what he said. He said the Shema because he was so happy. So as they gave each other the biggest hug ever, giving you a big hug, Yosef said, oh, Daddy, I can't believe it. I'm so happy. And Yaakov said, Shema Yisrael. And so that was how they saw each other after being apart for so very long. And then Yosef said, can I have some of the puppets for the show today, my sweetie? Thanks. So then Yosef said, Dad, I need you to meet my new boss. My new boss. Who's Yosef's new boss? Paro. I need you to meet my boss, Paro, the king of the whole land of Egypt. Dad, will you come with me to meet Paro? So along came. Wait, that one isn't Paro. Which one's Paro? Here we go. This one is Paro. I need the old man as well. Thank you. So here's Paro, and Paro was sitting on his throne, and Yosef came in with his dad to come and say hello to Paro. And Paro took one look at Yaakov, and he saw something. What do you think that he saw about Yaakov? He says, Yaakov, how old are you? He thought, wow, this is like a pretty old man. And that is true. Yaakov at this point was actually really old. How old do you think Yaakov was, Yeladim? Do you think he was like 30? No, even older. 50? Even older. 80? Even older than that. He was even older than 100.
110.
He was 110. 130. He was 130 years old. That is right. So, when Paro saw him, can I have Paro back again? Thank you. When Paro saw him, Paro said, wow, Yaakov, you look really old. How old are you? And Yaakov said, and he said this in a bit of a sad voice, he said, well, I'm 130 years old, but I've had a really hard and difficult life. That is what he said. Well, Yeladim, I must tell you something. That when Hashem heard Yaakov say that, Hashem was not very impressed. Hashem said, no, it's different, Yeladim. Hashem said,
What is it?
I'll tell you later, my boy. I need to tell the story, okay? Will you listen nicely? Great. So, Hashem said, Yaakov, that isn't the right thing to say, where you say, oh, my life is so hard, things are so difficult, having such a tough time. That isn't the right way to say it. I gave you a wonderful life. What's the right thing to say if Hashem gave you a wonderful life, Yeladim? You can shout out what you should say if Hashem gave you a wonderful life. Thank you. That is the right answer. If you were thinking thank you, give me a thumbs up or send a heart or a wave or something like that. Great. That is the right thing that you should say when Hashem gives you life. You say thank you. And you know what? That's so important to remember now as well. I think there are a lot of times when people feel a little bit grumpy and they talk about all the things that are not going right and they get upset about it. And you know what? That isn't the right thing to say. The right thing to say is, thank you, huh? Thank you, Hashem. Well done. That's what we should say. So Hashem wasn't so impressed with Yaakov when he said, oh, I've had such a hard and difficult life. Hashem said, it's true that you had such a hard and difficult life, but you also had so many good things in your life. Remember, you just got Yosef back, and you thought you would never get Yosef back again. So you mustn't only say, oh, why is my life so hard and difficult? You must also say, thank you so much, Hashem, for my wonderful life. It's important to remember for us as well now, Yeladim, there are a lot of challenges. There's a lot of hard times that people are having. A lot of the time we have to stay in our home. Maybe we can't go run around outside. Maybe our parents get a little bit irritated or because they're also having a hard time. But we mustn't complain and say, oh, things are so bad. No, we must realize Hashem gave us life. It is such a wonderful thing. And we must all say, thank you to Hashem. Thank you, Hashem. Exactly. So that was what happened when Yaakov met Paro. Well, the next thing that happened later on, after a few years, the whole family came down to Egypt and everyone started being okay. And Yosef made sure there was enough food for everyone. But then Yaakov got sick. Yaakov was really old and he got sick. And he said, you know what? I want to give a special blessing to my grandchildren, to Yosef's children. Paro wasn't sick. Yaakov was sick. Yaakov. Will you give me the sick Yaakov?
Yeah.
So Yaakov, thank you. These are going to be the grandchildren. Yaakov was sick. So he was lying in bed. I'm not feeling so well. And Yosef, can I have Yosef? This one is Yosef, thank you. And Yosef came along to visit him. And Yosef brought his two sons. Can these be Yosef's two sons, Azrael? Can I use them? Thank you. Yosef, one at a time. Yosef brought his two sons. This is the bigger boy, Menashe. And where's the little boy, Ephraim? Thank you. And this is the little boy, Ephraim. They both came with their dad to go and visit their grandpa. What do you think they called Yaakov? Obviously, they didn't call him his name, Yaakov. But you think they called him Grandpa or Zayda or Saba or Opa? What do you think they called him? I don't know. I don't know what they called him. But they brought I know what the other brothers could have called him. They could have called him Yaakov Avinu, what Yosef and the other brothers could have called him, because that means Yaakov, our father. So we say he's our father because he's the father of all the Jewish people. So all the Jewish people are related to him, but he actually was their father, so they probably called him Yaakov Avinu. Okay, so he brought along his two sons, and he says, Dad, I know you're not feeling well, but please, will you give a special blessing to my boys? And Yaakov said, yes, of course. Bring them closer. And they came closer. Will you give me the other one? There we go, thank you. And they came closer, and they came right up to him, and he said, stand here for a special blessing. Thank you, boy. Pass it to me, please. Thank you. And they came to stand so that he would bless them. And now, this is a little tricky. I hope you can see nicely with the puppets. He wanted to bless them each. And Yosef said, put your right hand, which was his main hand, put your right hand on Manasseh, the older boy, and your left hand, which isn't his main hand, on Ephraim, the younger boy. So do it like that. Right hand on Manasseh, left hand on Ephraim. And that way, when you give them the special blessing, the older boy will get the better blessing, and the younger boy will get the almost as good blessing. That was the idea. So, as they come closer, and they're getting ready for the special blessing, do you know what Yaakov did? He switched his hands around, jump, so that he gave the better blessing to the younger son, and the almost as good blessing to the older son. Yeladim, if you are older, put up your hand. Put up your hand if you are older. If you're the oldest in the family. Fantastic. And put up your hand if you are the youngest in the family. Maybe if you're like number 2 or number 3. I am younger. So some of you are older and some of you are younger. And Yosef wanted the older brother to get the best blessing. But Yaakov actually gave the younger brother the best blessing. And Yosef said, Dad, I think, Yaakov Avinu, I think you are making a mistake. I think you're making a mistake because maybe you forgot which one's older and which one's younger. Remember, the older one should get the better blessing, the bracha. And the younger one should get the almost as good one. And the dad, Yaakov, said, no, my boy. I understand exactly what I am doing. But even though Manasseh, the older boy, will be fantastic, Ephraim, the younger boy, will be even more fantastic. He is going to be so great. So that is why I'm giving him the better blessing, because he is going to be even greater, even more fantastic than the older brother. The younger brother is going to be even better. And then he gave him the special blessing. And you know what he said? He said, actually, all the Jewish people will give their children a blessing. Will you help your sister get that? All the Jewish people will give their sons a blessing. Yesimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'Menashe. That is what Jewish moms and dads say to their boys every Friday night. Yesimcha Elohim ke'Ephraim v'Menashe. May Hashem make you like Ephraim and Menashe. Just because like these two boys, Ephraim and Manasseh, were so good, may Hashem make you like Ephraim and Manasseh, that you are so good. Share some with us, please. And that is, actually, if you think about it, which brother comes first in that blessing? It's Ka-Ephraim v'Cha-Manasseh. So Ephraim comes first, even though he was the younger brother. He put the younger brother first, because it doesn't actually matter, Yeladim, who is older and who is younger in terms of who can do the best stuff. It doesn't matter if you're older or younger to do the best stuff. You know what matters to do the best stuff? Trying your best, being good to people, being kind, loving Hashem. Those are the things that are going to make the biggest difference. Not whether you're older or younger, or even if you're a child or an adult. There are some things adults can do that children can't do. There's some things children can do that adults can't do. So it doesn't, the main thing isn't, well, I'm older, well, I'm younger, well, I'm bigger, well, I'm smaller. No, no, no. That is not the most important. The most important is, are you being kind? Do you love Hashem? Are you doing good things? All those kind of things are much more important than old and young. Does that make sense, Eladim? So that is what. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense to you. Fantastic. Thank you very much. So that is what Yaakov was saying to his grandchildren. Menashe, you are fantastic. But Ephraim, you are even more fantastic. So I'm giving you the special blessing. Well, a little while after that, Yaakov called in all of his sons, all 12 of his sons, and he said, I want to give you all a special blessing. But there was one other thing he said to Yosef. He said, Yosef, I want you to make me a promise. One day I will die. That is what happens. One day I will die. But I want you to take me back to the land of Israel. I know I had to leave the land of Israel now, but one day I would like to go back to the land of Israel, because that is the most special place in the whole wide world. Quite right. So that was what he said. Yosef, do you promise? And Yosef says, yes, I promise. He says, promise. And he said, yes, I promise. And he got ready. He says, one day, when the time is right, I will take you back to the land of Israel. But now, Yaakov called all his 12 sons together. And he says, I am going to give you each a special blessing. Something special for every one of you. And for different children, it's going to be different. And for some of them, it's going to be a big surprise. Do you know what Yaakov said to all his children, Yeladim? Just give me 1 second, Surya. That's fine. Do you know what Yaakov said to all his children? What the special blessings were? I will tell you next time. Our time is finished for today. Bye, Yeladim. Thanks for joining us. See you tomorrow.